Hola amigos, ¿cómo estás? Bienvenido a la casa de Moody Vintage podcast. Welcome back, guys. Yeah, you know what? I tried to. I'm always looking for a new way of introducing the podcast, and today I figured, why not go with the Spanish one today? Why not go with the Spanish? Kind of appropriate, really, because I'm going to be touching on a topic today that sort of relates to that because it's tied to California. Because okay, well, let me just start this off. First of all, welcome back to Moody Vintage podcast. Once again, always appreciate the support. Been grateful. You guys have been wonderful, and most importantly, y'all just supporting and some of y'all have been relating with the stuff and sharing it and all that stuff, and that's always welcomed. That's an obvious, that's a given. So I'm always going to be shouting out all of the listeners or viewers if you're on YouTube or you're watching this on YouTube or only listening to on Spotify or Apple Podcast. So when you're listening to this or you're watching this is coming out at a time after what's transpiring the day before. I know that's some weird Matrix shit, but let me tell you something. The reason why I'm really excited about the second half of this month is that there's a couple of returns and one huge big deal type of reunion for me, okay? And if you follow me on Instagram, if you're watching my stories and posts and pictures or whatever, there's going to be plenty of pictures, by the way. So when you're listening to this, you probably have already seen it, the excitement, the enthusiasm, the emotions, the affection, and just the whole, just a lot of emotions, okay? Because it's a reunion that has been in the works for 17 years, ever since I left Cali. Basically, for those who don't know or haven't really followed or paid attention on Instagram, I will be able to speak on this much better after the event has happened, okay, which is technically next weekend for me. But by the time you guys hear this episode, you will have already seen it. I am meeting up with this person. Is a very important person in my life, very close human being, and I haven't seen her in 17 years, okay? 17 years, ladies and gentlemen, since I left California, okay? The last time I literally saw her and she was one of the, I want to say select few, but no, there was a lot of people there, sending us off at LAX as my parents and I, were about to board the plane and go back to Bangladesh in 2005. This is 2005, ladies and gentlemen. That's how long ago this was. And this is the last time I actually physically saw her. Obviously we've kept in touch and FaceTime and whatnot, the good stuff. But it's just it's so crazy. Like I can't truly explain to you guys the feeling, right? Because I'm not living it at the moment. I'm just talking about it. This is pre-event, right? And I think obviously it'll show once it shows. But seeing someone who is so close to you, and over the past 17 years, we've gotten very, very close. And, she's like a little sister to me. So, oh man, it's like kind of sinking in. I've been trying to maintain my composure and try to harness that excitement, that enthusiasm, because we're seeing each other after 17 years, it just sounds crazy to me. But it feels like a true reunion, you know what I'm saying? So so I'm just very proud of where she is now and where she's going to go. There's so much potential that has yet to be tapped into, and that's for anybody really. When you get older, you're going through different phases of life and you're sort of figuring things out, and she still is figuring, like we all are, right, at one way or another, figuring things out. But to see her where she is now, it's just an awesome feeling. And yeah, again, you guys are hearing this, watching this after the fact, so I'm sort of I don't know. There's going to be a lot of tears. Anyways, a lot of tears. So I will get to the topic of today's episode, and it's connected to that, to the whole Cali thing and the 17 years and all that stuff. But I also want to do a couple of quick shout outs off the bat on top. I feel like I'm gonna have to do shout outs like every episode, because there's so many very important characters in my life, important individuals in my life. So this one I shall start with is Pear, my friend Pear, my favorite Thai. I told you I was gonna give you a shout out, just to get on your nerves, because I know you low key want to be famous. I get it. You want to be associated with me. You know what I mean? Affiliated with Moody Vintage. And so I'm giving you a shout out just to piss you off. But anyways, no. With all jokes aside, Pear, I really, really want. I mean, I've already told you this in person, but because we were discussing it the other day, and I did mean it word for word. Pear has been. She's been a reminder, sort of like, I value her friendship because she sort of made me see, to not be so hard on myself, really, to not be hard on myself, and to give myself a second chance. And she's shown me that. And she's also shown me that you can be as strong as you want on the outside, right? And this is, again, all of this, all that I'm saying here is nothing new, right? Nothing is new under the sun, right? We've all sort of been through this in one form or another, right? So you can be, that sort of have that rough, tough exterior, with your chin up, and be a man, that kind of attitude, be stoic and all that stuff. But when that strength doesn't come from, you don't have that inner strength, then it becomes even more difficult to deal with. And it's a facade. And when you do the facade, then it's like you sort of lose yourself. So I think I've sort of, gained perspective in the way that it's important to exercise that inner strength, and that it's okay to just be like, dude, everyone who knows you, and they know who you really are on the inside. And so it's okay to be vulnerable around them, and whenever you're too hard on yourself, to give yourself a second chance. And I've learned that from Pear. So thank you, Pear. See, I was very sweet. I didn't embarrass you. I could say so many things. No, I'm just kidding. I love you. So yeah, that's one shout out. Second shout out, this young lady, all the way from a different, completely different time zone, always like, always trying to be my number one cheerleader, and I appreciate her for this. So, Nini, girl, the girl who's doesn't have my last name, but has my first name. You know what I'm saying? The girl with my first name. So, so huge shout out to Nini. Thank you for, how do I say this, dude? Like, the way you make it look so effortless. And I know, everyone goes through their issues. And also, again, it's back to that rough exterior kind of thing. And we're always trying to like grind it out and just, take it one day at a time. But she has never failed to give me words of affirmation. Like, she makes it sound so flawless. I'm just sort of floored, because, words of affirmation is like, it's my, like, I think it's my number one love language, right next to like physical, touch or whatever. So she makes it sound so goddamn effortless. And I'm just like, I get floored, because I don't really receive that from anybody else. She does it on a consistent basis, but like, what I mean by consistent basis, like, I guess, no, let me rephrase that. She comes at the most opportune moment, when I don't even realize that I need it, and I don't need it, or that I need to hear it, or read her words, or whatever it is, she just comes with it. And I'm just like, damn, like, please have my babies, like, have our children. That, you know what I mean? Like, when, like, you make it sound so effortless. It's like, okay, like, let's, let's turn that first name into a last name. You know what I'm saying? You got my first name now. I'm just kidding. Or am I? No. So yeah, so huge shout out to my baby mama, my future baby mama. Thank you for your words of affirmation. You've been amazing. And this is like, again, the two individuals that I just mentioned. It's just there's so many of those very important human beings in my life, and so Nini, you are definitely one of them, and Pear as well. It's a crazy ride, right? It's a crazy life, like especially if you've gone through. Man, I was just thinking the other day. I've got 3 years left until I hit 40. Okay, that's 4 decades on this planet. I know that sounds crazy. But see, that doesn't make me want to like sort of ponder, or sort of how do I say this? Contemplate on mortality or anything like that. I worry more about like my father, like he's aging. You know what I mean? And like I'm just trying to like rewind and think back, like how was he when he was 40? I was just a kid, but when he was 40, you know what I mean? It's just wild, man. It's wild. And I was on the phone the other day with my dad, and he's actually around my birthday, right? Like last month. He's like, "Damn, man, you're 37 now." I'm like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, dude, yeah. We getting old, bro. We getting old. I'm like, hey, but I was like, one thing for sure that's a sort of like a huge blessing is that my father doesn't look his age. I don't look my age. So that's like a huge, I mean, it's in the genes, right? That's what they say. It's in the genes. So thank goodness for my parents for looking hella young. They've aged very gracefully. So hella, just really blessed with that. But yeah, so I was thinking it's like 40 years, like 4 decades on this planet. It's insane. And so a huge chunk of that, those 17 years that I've been away from California and not seeing Sonia after like, since she was a kid, like a preteen, it's mind blowing. And we've all, and it's not just like, I think what usually people have this sort of like generic, approach to evolution. And what I mean by like your personal evolution, like when you're always changing, right? You're changing yourself, or you're growing. Sorry, I should say you're growing. And usually people think it comes in like, stages. It does come in stages, but also it's like a yearly thing, because you assume that you're going to be a completely different person in 5 years. Yeah, you will be. But what you don't know is that you're going to be a completely different person a year from now. Like you will have changed within a year. It's crazy. But a lot of people don't really, they don't really measure that, understandably, because, a year just goes by fast, especially if you're, productive, you have so many things to do on a day-to-day basis, and then a year goes by and you're like, holy shit, I mean, right now, it's March of 2022. 2 years ago, holy shit. I mean, life just flipped upside down for everyone on this planet. 2 years ago. It went by like that. And yeah, we're still wearing masks in some places. Still having the, safety precautions and things like that, understandably, and other things that are going on in the world. But that's what I'm saying. Within a year, things can change drastically. So it does come in stages, but it also comes in those years. And I was just thinking to myself, and when I was talking to Sonia, and we're so excited to see each other and all that stuff, but 17 years, it's like, I'm just thinking to myself, like, damn, 17 years ago, bro. I mean, and I'm a very unique case, and I'm a little baffled at myself, because I don't know, maybe I should talk to a therapist about this, but try to figure it out, like find the answer to this. But I'm not the dating kind of guy. I'm not. I don't date. I know that sounds weird, like I don't do dates, but I've always been the relationship guy. But this is okay. Let me put it this way. Let's rewind 17 years ago, okay? I mean, from like freshman year in high school, or before freshman year in high school, I don't know. I had this weird admiration, not weird admiration. What am I saying? I had this admiration for women at a very young age, even when I was a kid, and it was, girls that I had crushes on, in elementary school. I had a crush on my 3rd grade teacher, Miss, I don't know if I should say her name. I don't want to out her like this. I always feel weird like mentioning people's names unless, they know that it's a secure thing. Anyways, I had a crush on my 3rd grade teacher, okay? She was Norwegian, this beautiful Norwegian woman. I had a huge crush on her. I always tried to like impress her. You know what I mean? So I would always be memorable. And she was like in her 20s, I think, like early 20s. Because elementary school, right? So she was in her early 20s, something like that. And I had a huge crush on her. And I remember that I always had this, I was attuned, like I just, it wasn't like, oh my God, girls, cooties. I mean, maybe like in kindergarten, or like first grade maybe. But as I got older, you just started developing crushes and stuff like that. So I also had, crushes on friends and stuff like that or classmates or whatever growing up, right? And that went throughout, junior high, middle school, whatever you want to call it, into high school, right? You develop crushes, hardcore crushes, and that was always me. And this is something that I mentioned in the previous episode about like, I wear my heart on my sleeves. So, I mean, not to the point where I'm embarrassing the young lady, obviously, not that, not like crazy stalker, Shah Rukh Khan and, fucking Durr, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. No, but, yeah, it wasn't like that. That's, I don't know how I know obviously there are dudes and women, men and women out there who have a couple of screws loose, in their heads. And listen, we all crazy sometimes, but there's a limit, right? We all know our limits. But yeah, so like going through that, and this is before, obviously, before social media and before these dating apps and stuff like that. And even back then, like in high school, whatever, I think they did have those like those matrimony apps, not apps, sorry, what am I saying? Websites, right? Those marriage websites or whatever that, when the internet started to become a thing, right? And yeah, they had that, but it wasn't like widely available. Like now it's literally in the palm of your hands on your smartphone. You're swiping. And that always turned me off for some reason. The whole dating app thing. I was like, I don't know, man, this is weird to me. I don't know. And I'm not saying, again, it's the whole, the topic of, I was talking about, polyamorous relationships and things like that. It works for people. It doesn't work for me. I don't want to say it doesn't work for me. It just doesn't, there's nothing about it that turns me on to it. You know what I mean? It works for other people, great for them. Some people have a lot of people have gotten married, like after, meeting each other on Tinder or something, right? So, good on them. But I was never, I never, when that thing sort of blew up, everyone was swiping. I was like, nah, man, I'm cool with that. Because usually I would I would meet girls that I was interested in, just organically. Like whether it was in school or whether it was like a mutual friend or whether it was at work or, like things like that, right? That was like my adulthood. But then I realized, I was like, that's just weird because when I was a teenager, I met let me take that. Well, no, technically I was a teenager, but I met 3 of my ex-girlfriends online. This is no dating app, right? This was like back in just slightly before the MySpace era. No, way before the MySpace era. When there was like blogs like Zanga. Y'all remember that? Zanga, and there was like, there was a lot of like group chats on AIM. You'd have to like go into a discussion board, and you would just meet people. You'd meet people at like these fan clubs and stuff like that, like online fan clubs, right? Where people would just come and chat and things like that. So that's I've I've met a couple of my ex-girlfriends through that, and that's the weird thing. I mean, that was like, early, let's say early what am I saying? Yeah, early 2000s, right? Early 2000s, right after high school. And now that I'm sitting here, I'm like, yeah, well, what? That's weird because that's online too. Those are strangers too. You don't know who they are. And I've been catfished. I have been catfished. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've been catfished twice, where the girl wasn't actually the girl in her photos that she was sharing. And this was like, this was like I think one of them was on Zanga and the other one was on like MySpace, when MySpace was just starting out, when no one really knew about it. And I've been catfished. I'm not going to lie. I bet, And it was just like this weird thing. Like I just went with it. It felt normal for me, organically. I'm like, well, what is this world, this internet? You know what I mean? So, so, and, I mean, the internet was around way before that, but this is where like people were actually like, communicating from other individuals from, different parts of the world or, different parts of the States or whatever. And you find something similar, similarities or things that you have in common, things that you like and all this stuff like that. And you connect it with that and then you build a relationship with that person. Anyways, so that was then. And now it's so much more like, I mean, people are just looking for an easy way to listen, if your objective is just to hook up, okay, fine. Do you, boo boo. Please be safe. Please be safe. Please. There's so many crazy, dangerous things that you can get into. So just please be safe. Anyways. So like I said, if that works for you, great. Do your dating app thing And then so now I'm just like sitting here, I'm thinking like, yo, what the fuck? Like, so why I was doing that back then. So what is it about me? Where is that mental block that says, bruh, don't do the dating apps thing. That's not your thing. Don't do it, man. But I think I've grown. I've sort of grown out of that. What I mean by that is this, that was back when I was a teenager, going into my 20s and things like that. But as an adult, the other relationships that I've been in has not been through online, right? These are people that I've met in, physically in real life, right? And it wasn't dating. It's always been a relationship for me. I've always been a relationship guy, even though maybe dating was probably a better approach because, some of these relationships didn't even last. It lasted like 2 months and then it just crashed. Understandably so, for whatever legitimate reason. Again, no regrets, as I always say. Never had a single regret in my life. And it's a learning experience, right? So, I mean, I don't do the date thing. I probably meet somebody, start talking to that somebody, whoever it is, and start flirting with that somebody. And then, things spark off and you take it to the next level, wherever the next level is. And then you hope to God it works out. Or it could be incredibly toxic and that could be the end of it very quickly. But that doesn't always mean, that doesn't always mean that it was a terrible, horrible experience, Some relationships were obviously better than others, of course. Some were more toxic, some were ridiculously toxic. And you learn from that. But I always hold on to like the good memories, like the good times. I'm not going to sit here and be like, yo, all my exes were fucking crazy and, all had baggage and all that stuff. Everyone got their own shit to deal with. That's nothing new, right? But there is a level of tolerance that, so that you can give so much to somebody. And once that person like crosses that line, you're like, okay, now it's just getting into that toxicity level that I just can't. Enough is enough, right? And so as you get older, I mean, I can only speak for me. As I've gotten older, the tolerance level for bullshit is very low. So yeah, I do see the red flags come in, but then some of my like very terrible traits of, hey, let's give this person a chance, let's see the good in this person, and that gets you in trouble. Something again I've mentioned in the last episode. But what I'm meaning to say is that how things have changed, but not really. These past 17 years, like when I was basically a dumbass teenager, 19, and then going into my 20s, early 20s. That's how it was, and now that I'm a grown ass adult, I think I'm more comfortable in meeting, women in real life, man. Like whether it's like a mutual friend or through work, or some other, some organic way of doing it, not like online kind of thing. And the women I've met that I've recently been in a relationship with, they've done the app thing. I think. Have they? No, let me take that back. No, they have not. Wow. okay, maybe that's a thing. Maybe I attract that. Where, I mean, they've tried it, but it hasn't really worked out, and they've stopped, and then they've gone back on it. You know what? I'm gonna backtrack the whole goddamn statement. They have gone on those apps. Anyways, whatever. It's not my business. I wish them all well. So ladies, I hope you're doing great. But that's nothing. It's cool. Like, I'm cool with that. If I'm in a relationship with somebody who has done the whole app thing, they found success, it has been a failure. Either way, you part mutually or whatever. You learn from it, whatever. That's great. It has nothing to do with me. What you did in the past, it's what's now. Unless you murdered somebody, then you gotta let me know, because I don't know if I can commit, to a murderer. So if you were convicted, maybe somewhere down the line, just let me know, so we can discuss this. But yeah, so again, the past thing and all this stuff. That's who you were then. I just want to be, dealing with you here. But when so many people with that baggage, like, brings that baggage from the past into, like, the present, then it just gets, then what are we doing? What are we doing? Let's not do what we're doing, right? But I've fallen to that trap before as well, and my close friends have given me their piece of the peace of mind, right? So I had to learn from that in the hard way, And I think most people sort of do that, learn it the hard way, which sucks. But sometimes, you can't really, and I've been through it myself, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like, oh, I got it the first time. No, I've, multiple times, my dumbass has been in that situation. I've had to learn from, the hard way. And some people get, I think it depends on situations. Some situations you'll just get, like, straight off the bat. Other situations you're like, oh no, but wait a minute. And, once you get that wait a minute, and then next thing you know, it just, you're 6 feet deep and there's no way out of it. Well, I mean, there is a way out of it. You got to claw your way out of it. But you know what I'm saying? It's like, I think it depends on the situation, whether you want to learn it the easy way or the hard way. Regardless, you'll learn, and you got to move on. Because if it's, if you're in that vicious cycle, but that comes with maturity. I've been in that situation before where, I realized, or this is not good. It's not healthy for either of us. It's a ridiculous, toxic cycle, and we don't need to be a part of that. And we don't need to, drag it, or delay the inevitable, right? Anyways. So yeah, I don't know. And look, listen, don't get me wrong. I like a little, little sauce, little hot sauce in a woman. I grew up around brown women, whether they're South Asian or Latinas, doesn't matter. They're a little cray-see. I like a little cray-see. It's kind of, I'm not going to lie to you, it's a little bit of a turn on. Not a little, it's a lot. It's a lot of a turn on. But again, there is a line that, women, ladies, if you're watching or listening, whatever, there's both dudes and dudettes, there's some crazy ass dudes out there, man. Women have it way worse. I think, because, again, it's, depends on the situation, but I think generally speaking, obviously, I think women have it more challenging. They got to deal with a lot more psychos. I think, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't want to make it into a gender thing, but it's like, I've seen this, I've observed how crazy some of these guys are. And it's, women don't have that same type of support, so to speak, which is sad, which is fucked up. But, it is, it's the unfortunate, part of life. But as, cause as for me, I can bail, bro. I can bail. It's, it's up to me. You can't just tell a woman, or not just a woman. I think anyone who finds himself in that situation where you're so deep and sort of lost and so deep inside the relationship that you're trying to find a way out, but you're so fucking caught up in it. You know, I'm just saying this from my perspective of the situations that I've seen with women in my life. They have gone through this like stupid amount of like, you know, just crazy madness, toxic type of environment. And it's been very difficult for them to get out. It's not as easy, I think. You know, and it shouldn't be the case, obviously. But yeah, like I said, there's that line, right, between cray-see and psycho, you know. She's a cuckoo. Okay, you need to leave. You need to leave. You need to leave, boo-boo. Okay. And again, like I said, I've been guilty of that, of not listening to wiser, cooler heads saying, dude, get the fuck out now. So I don't know. So if it comes to future relationships, or like when it comes to whoever I end up with, if I end up with anybody, I don't know. I'm just saying. And yeah, I would appreciate, you know, if she a little crazy. You know, I like a little, you know, I like a woman who you know, who's in charge, like, you know, like to take charge. Like I've always been so, I don't know, maybe because I grew up around women, so watching them like with such resilience and fucking power, and like, I don't know, it's just sexy to me, a woman who takes charge. So I've always, you know, been, you know, into the whole, you know, women who have been aggressive, or not. I don't want to even say aggressive, who are assertive. Okay, let me put it that way. Who are assertive, knows what she wants, and she gets it. And of course, you know, doesn't tread the line between cray-see and psycho. Okay, two different roles here. Okay, ladies, let's not get caught up in that. So yeah, who knows, and whoever it is, you know, I love that. I think it's a turn on for me, but you know, I don't know. I don't want to sound mean, but you know, my friends have told me this many times before. My very, very close friends who know me very well. They say, Moody, you know what you're attracted to? You're attracted to cray-see. That's what you're attracted to. You're attracted to cray-see. And everyone has a laugh about it. Everyone jokes about it. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm attracted to cray-see. Oh shit, man. I don't know what to do, man. I'm fucked. That's what ends up happening. I hope that's not the case. I just maybe I've lucked out most of the time. Anyways, with that said, guys, I'm about to wrap things up here with another episode of House of Moody Vintage podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed that. So I'm going to continue this format. Try to keep it around like 40 minutes, you know, around there or so. Usually, you know, I've got the intro, and then I've got, you know, we jump into the topic or whatever it is. And of course we just wrap it up at the end, do like a review or maybe a posting or whatever. Clean up house or clean house or whatever. Things like that before I sign out. And you know, I've had discussions with a friend as well, with a couple of friends actually. And I do eventually, and I was telling my friend, another shout out to my friend Jerry. Jerry, what up, G? Gerardo Covarrubias. What up, homie? We had a really, really good conversation on the phone the other day, and you know, he's hyped, and I love that type of passion, because he and I, you know, sort of have a lot of the similar, how do I say this? You know, we have a lot of things in common. You know what I mean? Like a lot of similarities when it comes to like movies and shows and all this stuff, and he's into NFTs and stuff like that. So I don't know. I actually want to probably get into that as well. Again, I'm trying to keep the episodes sort of multi-layered, not just sticking to one topic. You know what I mean? I don't want to do that. I don't want to feel like, I want to include everybody. You know what I mean? Like the last episode, I talked about the Batman, and then I got into the whole, you know, the polyamorous thing, and something that's recently happened. in the real world, in real time, real life, So those kind of things. I want to combine all that stuff so everyone, enjoys it, right? So everyone can be feel involved in a way. Because at the end of the day, like I've said it before, yes, this is for me. This is like therapy for me to just talk, which is weird because like I've had people straight up respond to these episodes, like, Moody, I love that that you're doing this. It's just a cool thing. It's something that I love listening to, or that's made me feel better and things like that. And that's always been like the core of like, when I started doing like, videos, even, before YouTube, whatever, it was just like out of entertainment and out of just the passion of making just feel good, just have like these feel good moments. And that's what I want for people, just to feel good, just to have a good time, because so much shit that's going on in our world right now. Why not? Why can't we smile for a bit? Why can't we laugh for a bit? Why can't we just pause just for a second? Catch our breath for a second, take a step back, breathe, relax, smile, laugh, whatever. You know what I mean? Like that's ultimately what I always wanted to do when it comes to producing something that's creative. And that's what I've been trying to do with this podcast. And so far so good. Okay, so I appreciate it. And so if you guys are watching this on YouTube, by the way, lighting's way better, thank goodness, because that was bothering the shit out of me. I could not do that anymore. So I was like, all right, you know what? I gotta upgrade just a little bit, make things work, and go with this and see where this goes. So again, appreciate everyone's support, especially the shout outs that I made earlier in the episodes. There's so many of you who are like that. Close friends, obviously, that's one thing. But, I've had a lot of you guys who've been following me for a very long time, and I'm a nobody. And but that just makes it even more worthwhile, knowing that I'm a nobody, but you guys still, like, you relate, or your response is so positive. What I mean by that is like not praising me, but the fact that I was able to do something just a little bit to make your day better, that means the fucking world, man. Straight up. Like, you guys have been so damn supportive, when I started this thing in Dhaka and back in Bangladesh, and you guys have been so just, so from my day ones to new followers or whatever, awesome, dude, like straight up. And, it's led to this. So I want this to grow. I do want this podcast to grow and to hopefully get into something even better. Right. And yeah. So thank you. Thank you. All the shout outs, really emotional times. Shout out to Pear. Give you a shout out, girl. You know what I'm saying? Hey, word of advice though, stay off the goddamn milkshakes. You scare the shit out of me. Okay. I know you've got a tapeworm, but stay off the goddamn milkshakes. Okay. Listen, you're getting older now. I don't want you to have diabetes. How about that? Same thing with my friend Carlos. Okay, Carlos, my Brazilian friend Carlos. Oh my God, this guy, he has too much sweetness, too many desserts. Carlos, I love you, brother, but please, I don't want you to have diabetes. Okay, you're getting old. Okay, so shout out to Carlos as well. I've been doing a lot of shout outs today. Anyways, and of course, to my future baby mama, Nini, what's up, girl? You know what I'm saying? Thank you for your words of affirmation. You were amazing. You were always amazing. You make my day. Thank you so much. And anyone and everyone who has that similar effect, thank you so much. You guys are amazing. I'll catch you guys next time here in the House of Moody Vintage podcast. That was fantastic. It's a great episode. See you guys next week. All right. I'm out.